Thank you for auditing the always positive new music review show hosted by a French professor who's going to start this whole episode off with a very bad joke. So you know that Bill Clinton played saxophone, but did you know that his vice president played guitar? Yeah, he didn't play lead though. He played algorithm. Algorithm is going to be a little side theme to this review of the album Inner Worlds by Soccer96. Now, first of all, it's kind of a side theme because I wasn't even going to release this video. You see, right now on my channel, I released my Jack Harlow video. That's doing pretty well. I released my Kendrick video. That's doing super well. And then my next video is going to be the next Kendrick video, and that's going to do super well. And the YouTube algorithm does important and mysterious work. I don't know how it works, but this is Thunderground Thursday. This is where I talk about albums that you might miss. This is where I don't do the easy thing. I don't go for the easy views. There's no way this video is going to get even 1,000 views, and there's nothing I can do or you can do to stop it. But thank you for watching it. You can help it by smashing the like bucket, by subscribing, by leaving comments. Please do. Tell me your favorite bad joke in the comments. I don't care. Or tell me how funny algorithm is as a joke. So I'm releasing this video despite that fact. Okay, I was thinking about it, and I was going to release it on my second channel. I was going to release it privately, but as I said to myself, based on one of my favorite Far Side cartoons, I just gotta be me. You see that one right there? Based off the Sammy Davis Jr. song. I just gotta be me. Algorithm be damned. I am going to talk about this awesome, super, really great album that I want to share with you, because that's the other part of this album. It's not just a place for me to grow clout and for me to grow my influence and reach. I'm trying to discover new music. So I'm trying to think, how can I get you to listen to this album? Okay? Like how can I do it? It's a largely instrumental electro jazz album. There's a lot of words in there that don't call to me. So I thought of it. Next week is Kendrick week, right? But it's also the Smile week. You know, Tom York and Johnny Greenwood and Nigel Godrich's project. Except really, those three have worked together for a long time. It's that fourth element that's going to make the Smile so interesting. That's that Tom Skinner, that drummer. Phil Selway, Radiohead, is a great drummer, but he's not a Tom Skinner style drummer. That's the hook. I'm going to title this like it's an algorithm. If you like the Smile, try Soccer96. I'm doing the algorithm's work. I don't even do Pandora. I don't do the predictive algorithm thing. I just listen to everything and figure out what I like, but I know that you might. Or maybe you use me instead of the algorithm. So allow me to be your algorithm. If you are getting psyched, if you've heard those sounds, and what is it that makes this new Radiohead offshoot album so great? It's what's happening right now in England. So obviously in England we have this whole post-punk scene, and it's great, and I've covered that. Not to death, but to near death. But there's also this crazy great jazz scene, you know? And I talked about last year, I talked about this album, Sons of Kemet, Black to the Future. I loved this album. I thought it was great. Little did I know that the drummer of this band, Tom Skinner, would go on to join in that Smile project. But it all is starting to make sense. There's all of these groups that are working. As a matter of fact, there's a song on this album by Soccer96 which features the bass playing of somebody who plays all the time with Tom Skinner. There's like this whole scene of this British jazz explosion. Very technical, but very soulful. Reminds me a lot of Go-Go Penguin, which is a very talented jazz band, classically trained virtuosos, but who make music as though they're trying to recreate some of the sounds for electronica. If that's interesting to you, if you like Go-Go Penguin, and if you're interested in the Smile, you are going to love Soccer96 and their album Inner Worlds. Oh, algorithms, bless this video. Now, another reason why I wanted to review this album is because I'm a troll. I love saying the word soccer. I do. I have a lot of British fans. I love you. I have a lot of fans all around the world. I love you all. But I come from a little part of the world called America, and for some reason we decided to just call football soccer, and soccer soccer, and football football. So the fact that it's a British band who named themselves Soccer96, that's kind of funny. But really what it is what this band is. It's two people. Not even three. It's two people. A keyboardist and a drummer. And if you've watched this channel enough, you know I am a really, really mediocre drummer. I mean, if being mediocre was a skill, I got it, man. I mean, I really got it. I have just enough creativity when I play drums that you don't think I'm boring. I keep just enough time to where it's not like I don't have any rhythm at all. My fills are pedestrian. That's basically my life as a drummer. But what that means is that when I hear good drumming, and especially when I hear excellent drumming, I am really attracted to it. So this album is really vibey. It does a lot with this idea of a really good keyboardist playing synthesizer and a really insanely good drummer. I'm going to do more of that super cheesy internet stuff. Okay, I'm not going to give a grade. Don't worry. I'm not going to fully sell out. But you know when you do things like this meets that? So already I've got you. If you like Go-Go Penguin, check out Soccer96. If you're psyched for the smile, check out Soccer96. It's Kraftwerk meets the meters. I want to hear that. And that's best heard on my stamp, my example song. Click on the banana to hear the example song called Inner Worlds, Outer Worlds. This is the first track on the album, and it just shows everything. It's got this great, very regular synthesizer, very kind of Kraftwerky, very simple, and then these drums come in. And the thing about these drums, especially on this song, now my son is a much better drummer than I am. So we listened to this. We went, there's a really good Asian market in Henrietta, New York, near where we live. And we went there and we got these little buns. We had these like pork floss buns. They're super good. We were eating these pork floss buns, and I put on this music, and like, and he was just like, oh, he was so into it. Because if you're a drummer and you listen to what this drummer is doing on this first song, he's so deep in the pocket, man. It's not even as deep in the pocket. I sound like a hippie. Deep in the pocket, man. It's not just that he's in the pocket. It's like every single, like, he isn't repeating himself. The beat doesn't sound radically different from bar to bar, but there's just enough difference with like the way that he plays the bass drum, or the way that he's using the hi-hat, that what I think of is like if you ever see a really well-made garment that's one color, but that's like properly embroidered, like a nice white robe with white details on it, and you look up close and you're like breathtaking. Like it's like I cannot believe the level of detail and subtlety and richness in this garment. That's what this drumming is like. It is so good. The drums are so consistent. I mean, the keyboard is so consistent, and the drum is going wild. It is some of the best instrumental music I have ever heard. I really enjoy it that much, and I really think you should check it out. Next song is called Speak More of Love. This features someone called The Colors That Rise. They misspelled the word color, though. There's a U in there. I don't know if that's a stylistic choice. This one has a cool bloopy synth. That was a joke, by the way. Cool kind of bloopy synths and kind of woozy synths. And here's that Go-Go Penguin comparison. So Go-Go Penguin is a band that I happened to catch at the Rochester Jazz Festival, the only concert I've ever seen at the Rochester Jazz Festival. And it was this awesome trio out of England who made this electronica music but with real instruments. And the drumming here is basically the amen break played at jungle speed. So it's basically jungle music, and then the vocalist is basically doing like house lyricist and has this great breakdown. When it comes back, it's just sick. And then leads on to the next song, Crystal Period, which is a totally different sound. It sounds kind of underwater. It sounds kind of light. It's not at all like you'd think with two members of the band, everything would just be repeat, the same thing over and over again. And frankly, part of me wants just that first song for 45 minutes because it's just that good. But I think it's good. They made a whole album, like a real album. It like breaks slightly into this dissonant part with this one note being hit on the synthesizer, and it somehow gets even funkier. There's so much movement. All the way throughout this album, songs have movement. Even when they're instrumental songs, you feel like you start one place, it goes away, you go to some other place. There's this kind of trippy part in the song where the drums almost fall out of rhythm. It's like right at the edge. Almost has like a Riders on the Storm vibe. It's great. Yesterday Knows Me, featuring Salami Rose Joe Lewis. Kind of a soulful song, almost a hip-hop beat, kind of ethereal voice. Again, the beat sort of falls apart and comes back together with these great cascading sounds and a great jammy ending. Another thing that this album is able to do, which also Go-Go Penguin is able to do, is make songs that feel jammy without ever being like a jam band. Does that make sense? Like it feels like they're maybe not playing the same thing every time, but it doesn't feel self-indulgent. Next song is called Adrenaline. I was listening to this primarily after listening to it with my son. You're going to review this, right, Dad? I don't know, because the algorithm wants me to talk about Kendrick. Right? So I said I didn't know, but I am going to review it, as you can tell. Smash the like bucket. But, like this song I listened to today while I was at the gym, and I was on the elliptical, as I often am, and it just made me go so much faster. It's called Adrenaline. It's got the super, very, very intricate drum line on the rims, almost North African sounding, and the scales that are being played on the piano, and then like the crazy rat-a-tat on the rims of the snare, then moves to the hi-hat, then to some kind of bell. I don't know how the drummer doesn't just pass out. It slows down a little bit, kind of cuts out. It could have been over. It could have been done. It could have been finished. The song Adrenaline was over. I was ready to get ready for the next song, and then there's this little added bit where the synthesizer, there's two guys, I don't know either of their names, Nigel and Rupert, I don't know. I'm sorry, Nigel and Rupert. I guess I try not to do a lot of research in my reviews. I try to just listen to the music and react. So, I think one of them's called Max. I think I saw that somewhere. Anyways, whichever one's playing synthesizer hasn't had that much of a chance to shine on the album, like beyond like the taste and the songwriting, right? It's not like it's bad, but it hasn't been able to be flashy. Here we have just a great synthesizer solo. Underwater Cities is a very kind of slower song, slows it down, it's kind of sloppy and jazzy and necessary to have a real album, to have these varied atmospheres and varied feels throughout the album. Gatekeepers featuring Rozzy Plain and Sinbad, almost an ominous synthesizer pattern to start, a little bit odd. The drums come in sort of flanged. I really like the female vocalist on this. It's nice because with instrumental bands, you have the problem of like, you have the problem of being instrumental, which can be hard to listen to. It can be alienating. You can feel a little bit distance from the music, especially when people are like me and they have low attention span, So they use just enough vocalists to make it that there are some vocalists on the album, but they don't dominate. And this is the one I like the most. It's most clear what she's singing. The final song is called Triple Helix, which I mentioned before. The Helix image is a good image of their band, just the intertwining, and it's going back to the smile. The thing that I love most about Radiohead is that their band needs to be their band. Like, they need to have all five of them to play together because they play so well together, because they've been playing together forever, and any part missing means it's not the band. If one member of Radiohead leaves Radiohead, and I don't care if it's the rhythm guitarist or the bassist or whatever, the Radiohead doesn't exist anymore. So what makes it interesting about their side project here with Tom Skinner is that they've basically created something new. It isn't at all Radiohead, but it has that same feeling of interdependence, right? Where we have musicians who have to be together, like really locked in. And I'm getting excited for that album, obviously, but that's what you need, people to be really locked in. And with the double helix of this band, they're really locked in, the drum and the synthesizer, and here they have this bass player, Tom Herbert, the guy who plays a lot with Tom Skinner, coming in here and just really locked in as a third component as a bassist, which makes it interesting. Maybe they could have another band with this guy playing bass. Maybe they do. A lot of these British musicians are in like 5 different bands. Whenever I say that, people are like, Sky? Clearly, you haven't heard Stoke-upon-Trent's most important band, Flat Stops, stuff like that. Sussex-upon-Essex is my favorite town in England. There's an epic ending here, kind of exhausting an ending. Really nice having it all just like... starting where we started and ending where we're ending, you have a real sense of accomplishment, which having an epic ending to a mostly instrumental album is a feat. To give you an idea of how much I like this album and how much I want to thank my Patreons, patreon.com/Professor Sky, they give me money and I spend most of the money on new music. So right there you can see I bought Soccer96. Wait, make sure my credit card information is not on there. No, it's not. You see, I bought Soccer96. It was £20, 20 quid, plus 20 quid shipping. So that's a lot of quid. That's a lot of quid for this album. But that's how much I like it. That's how enjoyable I think it is. I think it's great to listen to carefully. It's good to have in the background. It's just a really good album. Okay, now that I've satisfied the algorithm, now the algorithm's going to be pissed at me. But it's okay. I'm coming back with Kendrick. I'm coming back with a smile. For Thunderground Thursday and for Rupert and, Nigel. There's the camera.